Have you ever looked at someone who happily spends weekends at home, no parties, no outings, and wondered what's going on inside their mind? Why does staying in feel so good to them when for most people, staying home feels boring or lonely? Today we're going to explore that exact question. This isn't about laziness, social fear, or avoidance, it's about why certain people genuinely prefer being alone at home, and what psychology actually says about it. Let's start with something most of us have been taught: humans are social creatures. We're meant to seek connection, to go out, to be around others. But what if that's only part of the story? For a large group of people, the real source of fulfillment, comfort, and emotional energy doesn't come from a room full of friends or busy social scenes. It comes from peace, solitude, and their own inner world. Now, I know what you're thinking. Doesn't staying home mean you're shy, anxious, or socially awkward? Not necessarily. One of the biggest misconceptions about people who love staying home is that they're avoiding life. In reality, many of them engage deeply with life, just in ways that feel internally rewarding rather than externally stimulating. Psychologists often connect this preference to introversion, but it goes even deeper than that. Introversion simply means someone recharges in solitude rather than through social interaction. These people aren't afraid of people, they just need space and quiet to reset their minds. After a long interaction or a busy day, going out again doesn't restore them, it depletes them. Their nervous system literally functions best with less external input. Think of it this way: imagine your brain as a battery. For some, social interaction is like sunshine, it charges them up. For others, social interaction is more like a windstorm, it drains them faster than it charges them. For those people, home isn't a cage, it's a charging station. It's where they regain energy instead of losing it. Another psychological reason people love staying at home is emotional safety. The outside world is unpredictable: loud noises, unexpected interactions, constant decisions about how to behave or what to say. At home, every element is under their control. The lighting, the sound levels, the pace of the day, and even their schedule, they decide all of it. That control creates a sense of calm and safety that can't easily be replicated outside. This emotional safety connects to something psychologists call self-regulation, the ability to manage one's emotions without constantly needing external reassurance or stimulation. People who love staying home often have highly developed emotional self-regulation skills. They don't need noise or constant activity to feel alive. They thrive in low-stimulus environments where they can process thoughts and emotions deeply and without interruption. Now, here's a really interesting part: it's not just about recharging, it's about the richness of their inner world. When someone spends a lot of time alone, they often build a vivid internal life. They think deeply, reflect frequently, and may develop strong imagination, introspection, and creative thinking. For them, a quiet evening at home isn't empty, it's full of ideas, emotions, projects, hobbies, and personal growth. And here's something a lot of people don't realize: these individuals don't necessarily avoid people. They simply don't feel the same reward from social interactions that others do. In fact, many are capable of deep, meaningful connections, they just prefer quality over quantity. They'd rather have a heartfelt conversation with one close friend at home than spend hours making small talk in a crowded restaurant. There's also an element of energy management here. Social interactions carry what psychologists call a social energy cost. Each time you interact with others, your brain has to interpret social cues, respond to emotions, and regulate your own reactions. For someone who prefers solitude, that cost is higher. Staying home protects that energy, so it doesn't feel like avoidance, it feels like strategic self-care. At this point, you might be wondering, is this all just personality, or could there be something deeper? The answer is both. Personality traits like introversion are part of it, but so are things like past experiences, sensory sensitivity, and even cultural influences. People who have experienced overstimulating environments, like busy cities or chaotic social scenes, might find home even more appealing because it represents peace and predictability, not more chaos. But here's a crucial distinction: loving staying at home is not the same as unhealthy avoidance. There's a psychological condition called hikikomori, where someone withdraws from nearly all social contact for long periods, and that can lead to distress and impairment. That's different from choosing to stay home because it brings emotional balance and fulfillment. So let's be clear, there's a wide spectrum of home preference. On one end, we have people who simply enjoy solitude and peace. On the other, we have patterns of withdrawal that cause suffering. The key difference lies in choice, fulfillment, and functioning. People who enjoy staying home alone are often engaged in life on their own terms, they just do it differently. Psychology also tells us that loving solitude can actually be a strength. These individuals often develop deep self-awareness, emotional independence, and creative thinking skills that others might never experience. They learn to sit with themselves, reflect, and grow, and that's a form of psychological maturity many people never reach. In a world that constantly glorifies busyness, visibility, and external validation, choosing quiet over chaos isn't a sign of weakness. It's a reframing of fulfillment. These people aren't missing out, they are simply defining happiness on their own terms. They find meaning not in external buzz but in internal balance, and that's a powerful psychological insight. So the next time someone tells you they prefer staying home alone, don't assume they're shy or unhappy. They might just be living in a way that fits their nervous system, honors their emotional needs, and helps them flourish. And that, in its own way, is an amazing psychological strength. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the psychology of people who love staying at home alone. If you found this insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos that explore the psychology behind everyday human behaviors, explained simply.